in the protection of electoral personnel, locations, and processes in ensuring that voters exercise their civic.
Commissioner of Police, Bayelsa State, Mr. Uche Anoze, represented by Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Mr. Jude Kolawole, remarked that the police will continue to partner INEC in the conduct of credible polls in the country.
I believe this is the right time for this kind of trading. The police, especially the Commissioner of Police with the rank, we have been fraternizing. We are all along partnering, and that's the reason why we are here.
Participants at the event, drawn from the Nigeria Police Force, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigeria Immigration Services, the Nigeria Customs Services, the State Security Services, are being trained on electoral environment and security in Nigeria. The training organized by the Electoral Institute of the Independent National Electoral Commission is meant to train participants who are required to further train their colleagues on professional conduct during the polls. In Yenagua, Agbiruwe Arumon, Radio Nigeria.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Akwa Ibom State has described the judgment which declared the senator representing Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District, Senator Christopher Ekwenyong, winner of March 9, 2019 senatorial elections, as a confirmation of the sanctity of the ballot. The publicity secretary of the party, Comrade Eni Obong, said that members of the tribunal should be commended for their integrity and resoluteness. Mr. Obong said the petition filed by the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Akwa Ibom State and her candidate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, was defective, while the party was ill-prepared for the case. According to him, in the case against the PDP, Mr. Pat Ifon, the APC and their candidate filed the petition with a wrong heading of the court, wrong name of the federal constituency, non-compliance with Electoral Act, and inability to prove allegations of corrupt practices in line with Section 135 of the Evidence Act.
Election petitions, lawyers will tell you, are sui generis. They are matters of a different species, and these matters have regulated time span. I must commend my lords who sit on election petition. It's not an enviable job when you have a restricted period within which to undertake matters.
In the case between Mr. Victor Antai of the APC and Mr. Nse Ekwenyong of the PDP, Comrade Obong explained that the entire petition was fraught with mistakes. He maintained that the majority judgment in the Godswill Akpabio's case at the tribunal was a soothing balm to the people of Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District.
So, for example, when in the case of Victor Antai, they dumped materials and evidence on the court and no one was there to speak to it, those materials must be excluded from the judgment.
The publicity secretary advised the opposition party in the state to direct any grievance they have to the appropriate quarters in the judiciary. The Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Calabar, Cross River State, has upheld the victory of the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Governor Ben Ayade, during the March 9, 2019 gubernatorial election held in the state. Chairman of the three-man tribunal, Justice Josiah Majebi, in a ruling, dismissed the petition filed by the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Senator John Owan Eno, for lack of jurisdiction. According to him, the petition was a pre-election matter and was supposed to be taken to a state or federal high court for hearing rather than a tribunal, pointing out that the tribunal lacked the power to investigate any pre-election matter. Justice Majebi added that the petition failed to prove that he was excluded from contesting the governorship election, as there was evidence that he contested and scored some votes in the election and so could not have been excluded from the exercise as indicated in the petition. He therefore declared the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Governor Ben Ayade, as duly elected governor of Cross River State, having scored the highest number of valid votes in the election. Reacting to the judgment, Governor Ben Ayade, through his special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Christian Ita, said he was not surprised at the verdict since his victory was never in doubt. Also, the state chairman of the PDP, Mr. Enoch Etim, said the party had expected nothing less than the judgment that was passed at the tribunal, owing to the evidence of the governor's victory on ground.
If you know what you have done in the elections and you know you have won everywhere, so you will not really expect anything different from that. And if we had an opposite of what was said here, then it would have been an injustice. So we are satisfied.
Mr. Etim called on the people of Cross River State to support the governor so as to enable him succeed. You're listening to Radio Nigeria, South Zone is the 3. Here are stories in the bulletin so far. Federal government restates commitment to transforming nation's health sector. INEC in Bayelsa State trains officials ahead of November 16 governorship election. Still ahead, 3 front runners in race to become Democratic Party candidate for U.S. president. Plus business, entertainment, sports, commentary, and weather. To stay tuned.
Let's have some peace. Nigerians are peace-loving and hard-working people.
And countries only develop and grow when there is peace and stability.
There are different kinds of problems in every society, and so in every country.
If there are problems here, Nigeria is not an exception.
There is no society, no country where violence and public disorder has solved a problem.
No matter the problem, no matter the issue.
Let us sit down like brothers and sisters. Use dialogue to resolve the problems.
Remember, you have to give account of every action you take, if not here on earth, then before your creator.
Please let us work together for a peaceful Nigeria.
Let us work together. Nigeria will be great.
You're welcome back. The news continues.
And now, business news.
The Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, has warned that the timing of the announced increase of VAT from 5% to 7.2% could lead to the closure of businesses in the country. For details of these and more on Business News, let's join Austin Ine.
Director General of NECA, Mr. Timothy Olawale, who issued the warning in a statement, observed that the benefits of the recently signed national minimum wage of 30,000 naira would be neutralized by the proposed increase in value-added tax and further reduce the purchasing power of the citizens, leading to increase in prices of goods and services. He further noted that the move will result in upward movement of the inflation rate and further contraction of the economy. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, who announced the approval of the new VAT rate at the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja on Wednesday, noted that consultation is expected to commence over when the new rate would apply. She explained that stakeholders, including the National Assembly and the states, would have to agree on the date. The minister observed that the VAT Act would also have to be amended by the National Assembly before the commencement of the new rate, which she said could be sometime in 2020. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says the nation's total foreign trade hit 8.60 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2019, up from the 8.24 trillion naira recorded in the first quarter. A breakdown of the figure indicates that imports amounted to 4 trillion naira, representing 46.6%, while exports amounted to 4.59 trillion naira, representing 53.4%. At the international oil market, oil prices slipped to around $60 a barrel on Friday as concern about a slowdown in the global economy and oil demand outweighed hints of a progress in the US-China trade dispute. Brent crude futures was down 25 cents at $60.13 a barrel. US crude futures was up 5 cents at $55.14 a barrel. At the foreign exchange market, the US dollar stands at 307 naira at the interbank rate, while it exchanges for 360 naira at the parallel market. The euro is equivalent to 336 naira at the interbank rate and goes for 395 naira at the parallel market. The British pound exchanges for 378 naira at the interbank rate, while it is 450 naira at the parallel market. That's it on Business News. I am Austin Ine.
We're now Now bringing foreign news, 3 front runners in the race to become Democratic Party candidate for U.S. president have clashed over health care at the party's third debate. Ibisaki Wills has more news from the foreign scene.
The debate in Houston, Texas was the first time Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders faced off on stage. Former Texas lawmaker Beto O'Rourke draws some of the biggest applause with an impassioned plea for gun control. The winner is likely to face President Donald Trump, the Republican Party favorite, in the November 2020 polls. Only the 10 highest polling Democrats were eligible to take part in Thursday's debate. Mr. Biden is leading current polls by a considerable margin, with Massachusetts Senator Ms. Warren and Vermont Senator Mr. Sanders in second and third. Meanwhile, 4 Sikh men from Punjab who have drowned in a historic tank on a dairy farm near Pavia in northern Italy. Investigators suspected that the 4 were overcome by carbon dioxide fumes from the cow manure. They believe that 3 died after jumping in to rescue a worker who had been emptying the tank. 2 owned the farm and 3 were employees. All were Indian citizens. The 2 brothers, PM and Tassan Singh, registered their farm in 2017. Elsewhere, Paris is seeing huge jam and massive crowds on a few metro lines running as transport workers strike again on a planned pension reforms. 10 of 16 lines were shut and services on the other side were severely disrupted. Many workers cycled, walked or stayed at home, while free rides were run to offer transport operators and Uber, e-bike and shooters network. The strike, the biggest since 2017, is a first big act against President Macron for a universal pension. It will replace dozens of different pension schemes for different professions. And that's foreign news. I am Ibisaki Wills.
Entertainment news.
Davido proposes to Chioma 10 days after introduction as Adele filed for divorce from husband Simon Konecki after 7 years of marriage. Jay Alatoru has more on entertainment.
10 days after the introduction ceremony between the families of David Adeleke, aka Davido, and Chioma Avril Rowland, the singer has officially proposed to her. Chioma has also agreed to be his wife after he proposed to her in London yesterday. The music star took his girlfriend out on a dinner date in an expensive restaurant in London where he proposed to her. Meanwhile, Adele has filed for divorce yesterday after 7 years of marriage. However, the divorce was bound to happen following Adele and Simon's separation earlier in the year. Adele and Simon's relationship have always been kept away from the prying eyes of the public. The couple, after their separation earlier in the year, announced that they were committed to raising their son together. Adele and Simon Konecki joined the list of celebrities who have thrown in the towel with their marriages and exclusive relationships. And lastly, Kevin Hart is finally out of hospital after spending close to 2 weeks over injuries sustained during a car accident. The comedian and actor has been moved to a physical therapy facility where he will be undergoing further treatment. There are indications that Kevin Hart will be spending at most a week at the physical therapy facility. And that is all on Entertainment Gist. I am Jay Alatoro.
Now bring you sports. Rivers Angels seal Super 4 ticket as Team Delta dominate at National Youth Games. Let's join Emeka Chibe for more.
Evelyn Waboku was on target as Rivers Angels defeated Delta Queens in Port Harcourt to seal their place in this season's Super 4. Aside from being the final match of the abridged league season, it was a match which carried extra significance as Rivers Angels needed a win to topple FC Robo of Lagos at the top of the table and clinch the Super 4 tickets. A draw was never going to be enough, and the girls showed their mettle to win the game, courtesy of a 63rd minute set piece from Waboku, as Delta Queens ended the season with a loss on the road. In a similar vein, reigning champions Bayelsa Queens survived a scare from ITA Cup winners Nasarawa Amazons to confirm their participation in this season's Super 4 after playing out a 2-2 draw. After 6 rounds of games, the top 4 teams from each group that will be competing at the Super 4 include Rivers Angels, Bayelsa Queens, Confluence Queens, and Adamawa Queens. Team Bayelsa stay in 4th with 6 gold, 2 silver and 14 bronze. Akwa Ibom completes the top 5 with a total of 5 gold, 4 silver and 2 bronze medals for seasons. The match kicks off at 4 p.m. at the Enyimba International Stadium in Aba. In a related development, Enugu Rangers has left Nigeria for Libreville ahead of their CAF Confederation Cup first round encounter with AS Pelican in the Gabonese capital. The game will hold tomorrow. The 25-man delegation led by Rangers General Manager David Sinoumi are expected back in Nigeria on Sunday. That's all on sports. I am Emeka Chime.
Today's commentary is on the need to continue as one Nigeria, as written by Victory Aisoni of Radio Nigeria Treasurer FM and read from our studio.
Africans have been known for their communal way of life, which has helped build a sane society. The African continent believes very much in extended family system. This family does not only end with the immediate family, but extends to neighbors and friends. The phrase, being your brother's keeper, is synonymous with being an African. Nigerians have lived together for over a century and has never allowed influences from foreign cultures stall the brotherly love that exists amongst them. There is an adage that even the tongue and the teeth get into blood at times. This just explains that no matter the relationship, issues, arguments, and offenses would crop up, but must be settled amicably. This is why some leaders have maintained that the problem is not with the country, but we as individuals. They have maintained that in the place of restructuring or secession, the people remain the same. Attitudinal change is the word to first put into practice before any other action is taken. We all must begin to think and speak positive of the country. Even the Holy Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Our everyday slogan must remain, with one Nigeria I stand. We must keep believing in one Nigeria.
That commentary on the need to continue as one Nigeria was written by Victory Aisoni of Radio Nigeria Treasurer FM and read by OK Onwonu. To end Radio Nigeria South Zone is a recap of the major items. Federal government has restated commitment to transforming the nation's health sector. INEC in Bayelsa State is training officials ahead of November 16 governorship election. 3 front-runners in race to become Democratic Party candidate for U.S. president. Let's support youths as leaders of tomorrow to become agents of change. The news was edited by Victory Aisoni and the production team. My name is Rachel ONAH. Thank you very much for listening. Good afternoon.